All right, guys. So thank you for joining my video here. My formative assessment review for a piece of technology is going to be on Nearpod. Nearpod is a tool that I have just recently started using this school year. It's kind of an alternative that I found to Kahoot and to Quizlet and things like that. And based on my experience that I've had with it this year, I just wanted to kind of share the information that I think is relevant and would help you determine whether or not Nearpod is an effective tool for your classroom as well. So what is Nearpod? Nearpod is an online tool that offers multiple forms of online formative assessment. And when I say formative assessment, I mean there are so many different types of assessments that Nearpod allows you to do that it's very customizable. It's a tool that almost any teacher would really be able to use for whatever they're trying to assess. These include, specific drawings from students on Nearpod's website, open-ended questions, quizzes, collaborative activities, polls, and a few others that I'll talk about in just a little bit here. Through Nearpod, students are able to write or draw their answers for specific questions, or they're able to type out their responses for open-ended questions. Any kind of subjective question like that would go directly to the teacher then to grade. I'll talk about that again in a little bit as well. One nice feature about Nearpod that I found before I was using Nearpod is that they will grade objective formative assessments, such as, there's multiple choice question, there's matching questions or true false, things like that automatically. And if you want them to, they will return those results to the students right away. I know before I started using tools like Nearpod, all of my formative assessments like this were on paper. And whether we did them individually or whether we did them as groups to review, there really wasn't a whole lot of interest because it was just another example of using pen and paper to do what they've always done. Nearpod offers that difference. Nearpod offers them an opportunity to use their phones or to use some piece of technology that otherwise they wouldn't be able to use, even though it's assessing the same exact materials. And I'll get into that here in a little bit. So how does Nearpod work? Students will go to Nearpod's website and they'll enter a code. I'm actually going to show you the screen of what they see when they pull up Nearpod on their phone in just a few slides here. They're going to pull up Nearpod's website. They're going to type in the code that the teacher has, and they'll be given the assessment there. This can be used in a style of Kahoot where it's kind of a whole class-led, step-by-step, question-by-question piece, or it can be given as, a standard formative assessment that students kind of work through on their own. When the student does finish their assessment, they'll submit it, and the results are then sent right to the teacher. Teacher is able to display all of the answers for for an opinion question or for an open-ended poll question. They're able to choose specific answers that they want to go over if they're going over answers to a quiz and they want to demonstrate strong answers versus answers that require areas of improvement. And then when the teacher is then ready, individual scores are sent as well. Individual scores are sent to the teacher for them to review in another report. And again, if those questions are purely subjective, the answers are already in there. They've already been graded and they're ready to go. If there's a suggested subjective or an open-ended question in there, then the teacher has the ability to go in, leave feedback, leave comments, as they would on any standard formative assessment here. We've talked in this class already about the importance of offering feedback for formative assessments, and Nearpod definitely allows you to do that. So why do I use Nearpod? I've seen a lot of real benefits from using Nearpod. The first benefit from using Nearpod has been improved student engagement. Students, when they're given the opportunity to use technology, and in my building, everybody has an iPad, but I allow them for Nearpod to use their phone as well. No matter which device they would like to use, they can do that. And I found that really improves engagement. Students are much more into the idea of completing a quiz or something like that on their phone, especially when answers are then going up in front of them, than they would be if I were to hand out paper and say, please take this quiz. With improved engagement has come better results. Again, all of these reasons are my own personal experience. This is what I have found. And, you might have different results, but I have found that as engagement improves, results then improve as well. And kids who, really would not care about the pen and paper in hand have gotten into the idea of Nearpod. It's something they kind of look forward to every week here. Improved classroom environment. I am one of those teachers who cannot stand when a class is just, very kind of dry and quiet and doesn't really have a lot of engagement to it. And with Nearpod, you do get a lot more discussion. You get a lot more interaction, and that's just improved as well. On the grading side, we're all obviously very busy, and anything that will automatically grade some of these quizzes is obviously very handy. Not to say that, we can't grade them on our own, but if there's a tool that can grade a multiple choice question kind of on its own and share the results with you, that's time saved, more time that you can spend grading these subjective questions or the short answer questions, and things like that. And it could really help identify immediate areas of improvement. You'll get kind of, when you get students to submit to a specific Nearpod, you will get feedback, and oftentimes that feedback will include specific charts as far as, you know, the percentage of students that got these questions right compared to wrong. And you're able to see based on those charts whether or not you're able to see based on those charts specific areas of need that you might need to go over again before you move on. So these are some real improvements compared to just regular pencil and paper or pen and paper assessments that I've been using in the past year, which is why Nearpod and Kahoot as well, but Nearpod has been a large piece of my class in the last over the course of this school year. So as far as the sound design goes here, many training videos are available at really just straight on Google and on YouTube for teachers on how to create their own Nearpod assessments. It's a tool that I have found was very easy to use, to the point where the third time I did it, I kind of felt like I knew what I was doing and I was just running through the motion. Their website is very easy to navigate. They've set things up where, you know, where you're trying to go on the website kind of jumps out to you right away. And the creation of a Nearpod moves very quickly. Nearpod's ability to analyze each question by individual scores or as a whole class offers the teacher and creator the ability to target specific aspects of their lesson. Again, if there's an aspect that needs to be reviewed, Nearpod will make that, or will identify that very, very quickly so that you can hit that very quickly. And teachers are able to easily share their grades and their feedback with individual students. You know, it's nice to be able for students to take a quiz and kind of see their results right away and see what they did get wrong, what they didn't get wrong. And then, you know, the next day they get their full feedback with their open-ended response answers and things like that. It's a more streamlined approach to taking a quiz, grading a quiz, and returning that assessment feedback. So this is here a picture of, as far as formative usefulness, this is a picture of the screen that students will see when they go to join a Nearpod. When they go to the website and they go and click on join an Nearpod, they just enter their code right there, click join, and it pops right up. It's very, very easy. It's similar to a QR code, except they actually enter the code there. So it's super simple to use, and it offers a fun, interactive way for students to complete a formative assessment on their phones or devices. There are 9 different types of formative assessments. I mentioned some of them earlier, but there are 9 different types to ensure that teachers are able to really personalize their Nearpod to fit exactly what they want. And again, those types here are drag and drop, draw it, open-ended questions, quizzes, polls, collaborative boards, fill in the blanks, matching, and time to climb. So there's some really interesting, unique, kind of out-of-the-box thoughts here that can help make Nearpod a more effective formative assessment than some of the traditional forms that we've seen in the past. And finally, effective communication here. Objective questions are graded immediately and can be returned right away for students to review, offering some very clear communication as far as how a student did on a certain formative assessment. All assessment results are transferred to the teacher, who can grade and provide feedback on individual student assessments and project certain answers for class review. Again, it allows for clear communication as far as what the class as a whole has done well versus what the class as a whole can improve on, as well as individual students here. And students are noticeably much more engaged than when these quizzes were offered on paper. Like I said, I have had much more success offering this type of formative assessment than I have kind of the more traditional way that was more popular when I started teaching only 6 years ago. So this Nearpod, again, I highly, highly recommend that you give it a chance to see if it can make an influence on your class. It's definitely been very effective for me. So thank you.